Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Rite Aid is hiring right now for multiple remote roles. We're going to be going over them one at a time. The first one is titled Senior Analyst, Category Management. So this is an analyst role as the title implies. And with this position, you are going to be providing a lot of data analysis, providing reports. You're going to be doing a lot of data mining. You're going to be doing some warehousing of data, of information, creating reports from data. You are also going to be working to utilize those data points to convince management in making strategic decisions that can potentially move the organization forward. With that being said, what are some of the qualifications for this role, right? In terms of education, they're asking for GED. If you have a bachelor's degree, is a plus, as well as a master's. However, GED is the requirement for this role. In addition to that, they are also asking for you to have some experience from a retail perspective, financial analysis perspective. So that is what the experience they're looking for. So if you have a GED, they do want you to have a lot of experience, whereas the bachelor's degree, the experience level is a little bit lower. With this position, the salary range, as you can see on here, is between $72,000 and $103,000 per year. Again, between $72,000 and $103,000 per year. So that is an annual salary. So for folks that are in economics, you're in finance, you've done data analysis before, you've done data entry before, and you have a bachelor's degree, I encourage you to go ahead and submit your application for this role. And with this position is remote from any part of the United States, so you do not need to reside in just one state. It's open to the 50 states. All right, so we're going to move on to the next opportunity they have, which is also a fully remote role. This position is titled Manager, Own Brands, Product Development. This position, just as the title implies, you are going to really be focusing on the commercial side of things, product management, process management, making sure that different brands are represented the way they should, rebranding in some cases, different packaging, rebranding, and so forth. This individual will be responsible for making sure that different marketing points as times evolve, making sure that those evolution are reflected in different products, branding, and packaging. So that is really what this position is, and also creating trends, providing data to sort of support one versus the other. In addition to that, this role is going to allow you to collaborate with a lot of people throughout the organization, from like design perspective, from technology perspective, and so forth. With this position, the requirements they are asking for is a bachelor's degree in business finance. They are also asking for you to have experience in like finance or marketing. So that is really it. With this position, required versus preferred. So even if you do not have a bachelor's degree, they will still consider you as long as you have other skill set you're bringing to the table, such as you have been a leader before, you are results oriented, you are someone that is very excellent or has a good financial acumen, and so forth. So all of that comes into play with this position. And that's one of the things too that I admire with Rite Aid as well. In some of the description for different roles, they can be very specific and they can also be very vague. So depending on which of them you are submitting your application for, I encourage you to just make sure that your cover letter speaks to whatever they are requiring or preferring for those positions. They are looking for someone who has 7 years experience in business, experience in retail management, private branding, and so forth. The salary range is on the high end, which is between $88,000 and $126,000 per year. Again, that depends on where you reside. So New Yorkers tend to get paid more versus like people who reside in Connecticut. Colorado has its own bracket as well. So really varies depending on the state you reside. All right, so that's the second position. We're going to move on to the next position, which is an associate to the previous role. This is an associate manager, product development, owned brands. So this individual is going to just be providing support to the manager, and both of them provide support to the director of the department. This position, as you can tell, is going to really leverage different departments to accomplish different tasks and report back to the manager for the team. This individual is expected to have experience as well in finance, in marketing. However, the number of years of experience is lower, so this is about 3 years compared to 7. You are also going to be expected to have good financial acumen, good understanding of business. This individual is also result oriented. This individual is someone that should have a bachelor's degree in addition to the 2 to 3 years experience that they are asking for. And with this position, the salary is lower than the first. Is between $59,000 and $83,000 per year. Again, between $59,000 and $83,000 per year. The last position, which we're going to be talking about, is the managerial role for clinical education and program implementation. Believe you me, when I found this position, I was actually very excited because I have always thought of Rite Aid as just pharmacy, and so just finding a role that is focused around specifically more clinical was actually very surprising to me. With this position, they are expecting you to be someone who's going to focus on implementing different strategies and lead different clinical programs to allow them improve the health of their patients that they encounter from a pharmacy supply perspective. So this individual is really going to kind of wear that comprehensive hat, whether speaking to them about their health, their diet, and so forth. This individual is not only going to be speaking to their medication, but really seeing the patient from a wholeness perspective. So that's really what this role is. And that's one of the things I was particularly attracted to about it, because it's really rare to find roles like this. So my nurses, these are positions to consider. If you're a pharmacist, this is a role to consider, and so forth. So it's really a position that potentially anyone can apply for, as long as your license is active and you have some clinical background to you. They're requiring pharmacist-based point of care testing. They're requiring you to have a BLS, someone with some experience in retail clinical pharmacies. They talk about pharmacies more than 4 years. They talk about PharmD and so forth. However, because they're mentioning bachelor's degree, I think anyone in a clinical setting, clinical experience, which is why I mentioned nurses before, can potentially apply for this role, especially if you are very much interested in providing clinical navigation to patients. This role is asking for 5 years of retail or clinical pharmacy, or just 2 years of experience in management. So the salary range is $88,000 to $126,000 per year. That is the range. So those are the leads that I came across with Rite Aid, and I thought they were very interesting roles, high paying roles. And with Rite Aid, you get all the equipment you need to work from home. So you get PTOs. They have a lot of perks to them. So I encourage you to go ahead and submit your application. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you've not subscribed already. Till next time, I wish you guys all the very best of luck. Take care, guys. Bye bye.